Coach Dan here from Rise Above, and I'm here to talk to you about why weight loss is so hard. So before I really get into the nitty-gritty of this, there's two big things you need to know. The first one is that 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. Whether or not that's fat or muscle, it takes 3,500 calories to create or get rid of 1 pound. The other thing we need to know is a calorie deficit, which is a pretty basic concept. You consume less calories than you burn. So why is weight loss so hard then? So let me go ahead and let me draw some things out for you so you can follow along here. So let me just mark this off real quick for you. So basically, let's just say your metabolism burns 2,000 calories a day. So that's gonna be your output. So we're talking 2,000 calories out. Well, if we're in a calorie deficit, we know that we need to consume less calories than we burn, right? To lose weight. So the biggest thing here is we want to eat less than this number. I don't ever put anybody in a less than a 500 calorie deficit. The reason being is, if you really start to get outside of 500 calorie deficit, you're starting to basically eat unsustainably. And that's gonna lead to just long-term, crashing and burning, yo-yo dieting, all that good stuff. So if you burn 2,000 calories, then I'm gonna have you consume 1,500 calories in. And basically what this means is you're in a minus 500 calorie deficit, right? Perfect. So why 502? Well, if you're in a 500 calorie deficit every single day, 7 days a week, you're now at 3,500 calories. And that's negative 3,500 calories. So guess what? Doing this, you would lose 1 pound a week. Now, here's the problem, and why weight loss is actually hard, is that your metabolism adapts. So when you lose fat, fat actually burns calories. So what's happening is, basically your body's trying to hit a point of balance, meaning that it's trying to burn as many calories as that you're consuming. And that's why weight gain happens, is your body's trying to catch up to the amount of calories that you consume as a whole. So knowing all this, eventually your metabolism is going to slow down to 1,500 calories. And that's where people start to basically fall off. They no longer see progress, and they say, why am I doing this? And they just start eating as much food as they want. Well, guess what? You're gonna gain all of that weight back. Now here's the thing is that, okay, we know that your new metabolism is at 1,500. Well, what could we do? We could eat less, of course, and so now we have 1,000 in, and guess what? We're back in that minus 500 calorie deficit. Now, here's the problem with this is, when do we stop? We know that your metabolism is going to eventually adapt to this. So again, when do we stop? Are you gonna only consume 500 calories a day? The answer is no. You'd be so deprived, you'd have nutrient deficiencies, you would be in really poor health as a whole. Now that's the issue with sort of doing all of this. Now, and again, that's why weight loss is hard, because you get to this point and what happens is you no longer see progress. You no longer see progress, you fall off the wagon, you start to yo-yo, and and this time maybe you go from, instead of only consuming 1,500 calories, you go from 1,000 to 2,000, and all of a sudden you're putting on more weight than where you started. And that's basically how yo-yo dieting works. But that's why weight loss is so hard. So here's what we need to do instead. Instead of dropping down to our 1,500 calorie mark is, we need to boost the metabolism back up. And basically how we do that is by building muscle or a reverse diet. And so basically, once we hit a plateau, what I would do is take you through trying to get your metabolism back up to 2,000 calories without gaining any weight. Now you might be like, is that even possible? Yeah, it totally is. If we bump you up to 1,600 calories and your metabolism is at 1,500, you're only in a surplus of 100. Which means, times 7, you're only in a plus 700 for the week. And we wouldn't put you on this forever. So we're talking, what? A third of a pound that you would gain over the course of a week. We do this for 4 weeks. We bump up your metabolism by, maybe 300-400 calories, and then guess what? We can go back into our deficit again. And that's basically the hard part is nobody wants to take the time of slowly building their metabolism back up as they go. And that's why weight loss is so hard.